Hello everyone, myself Vishuteja. I'm studying Masters in Data Science from Liverpool John Moores University. Today I'm here and glad to present my final thesis on analysis on gradient tree snelling model to classify the thyroid condition in patients. So let's get started with the introduction. So thyroid is a gland that is responsible for releasing hormones, that is mainly related to the metabolism that controls how efficient and effectively our body converts the food intake into an energy. So thyroid disorders can range from small to life-threatening cancer. The two major common thyroid problems that we see is that one problem is thyroid produce more hormones and the second problem is insufficient hormone production. So most of these problems will be managed well if we identify before and of course treated well. So the most common symptoms are pregnancy related issues. This is the most common issues which we mostly see in India and other countries. And overweight, puffy face, and the muscle weakness and slow of heart rate, and there are many heart related and other issues. So now the problem statement is in US alone, an estimated of 27 million Americans have thyroid disease, and more than 20% of the people across the globe are undergoing the thyroid treatment, which is actually a big amount, a big figure if I say, right? Women are seven times more likely to contact thyroid problem than men. And if you see, nearly half of all the women and quarter of all men in US will die with the proper evidence of an inflamed thyroid. That's a very, serious concern. So the symptoms of this disease often vary from person to person, right? That's one of the challenge because they are most of the symptoms are common, but few symptoms are different from person to person, and few of them are non-specific. Sometimes by seeing the symptoms you can't even say this is a thyroid problem. So the correct diagnosis can easily be misplaced because of this symptoms or misdiagnosed for relevant issues. So this is one of the reason why we need machine learning for effective prediction of the thyroid. The aim and objective of this particular research is to identify the best classification model using traditional approaches and using automated ML model in the cloud. Okay, now coming to the automated ML or auto ML to understand how better it works for classification model compared to the traditional way of training the model. When I say traditional way of training the model, for example, first I'll take a one classification model, let's say logistic regression. I train my model with different hyperparameters, cross validation, etc., and I'll get the best result. Again, I will try with a different algorithm, maybe tree-based algorithm, linear discriminant analysis, SVM. I'll try with different algorithms. Now, when you talk about AutoML, I just pass my data. The AutoML library itself will take care of, training a different models with different hyperparameters. That obviously saves lots of our time. And not just that, it will also find the best hyperparameters out of it using some statistical techniques, right? When we do it manually, when a developer do it, find the hyperparameters, right? So we do it random most of the times, right? Where AutoML find the best hyperparameters some with some statistical techniques, which is more significant to train the model. Point two, to understand and estimate the performance of model, obviously in terms of precision, recall, FN, and performance in terms of time taken to build the model and deploy the model, right? Because when you talk about AutoML, I need not to worry about training different models, right? It will take care of everything. The third is dealing with imbalanced data using the best statistical technique to oversample data that mainly resembles the actual data for the best model fit. So which I'll be talking in my in upcoming slides. And the fourth one, capping of the outliers with univariate techniques for accurate values. Now coming to the literature review. So I have gone a lot of papers which is submitted. So what I personally noticed is most of the researchers are inclined towards the image related classification like ultrasound, X-rays, some kind of scans, all those stuff. The reason why I choose the tabular data instead of the scanning images is because if you see any survey, any health related issues. I mean, it can be thyroid, anything, whatever we talk about, right? The first step is, whether we may go for some kind of preliminary test, like, blood test, normal symptoms, all those stuff. The final step will be an X-ray or any kind of sort of scanning, right? So if you see, there are more chances of good amount of data, mainly in terms of if you talk about the tabular format, because it's usually the reports. I mean, most probably, those values are collected from your blood test or some other test. That's the first level of, diagnostics, right? That is one of the reason why it triggered me. Why can't I use that tabular data with the best predictions, right? Of course, there are many researchers who use the traditional machine learning algorithms or techniques like tree-based decision trees, SVMs, and the logistic regression. Then it also triggers me, why can't I use a gradient based algorithms, right? That can actually learn from their mistakes, right? That is one of the reason why I choose, the machine learning with the tabular data, with mainly into AutoML, right? So that's about the literature review. And now when we talk about the model data flow, obviously I deploy this particular model in GCP, Google Cloud Platform, because it has one of the best, ML related packages. So obviously first we'll read the CSV file, and I'm doing the couple of data pre-processing, like mainly the missing values. When you talk about the age, one of the important column which has some missing values. So I use some, best statistical techniques, univariate techniques to find the age, compared with the genders, all the stuff, and the imbalance data. So I'm using Smoothie to deal with the imbalance data, and of course the generic stuff, categorical to numerical conversion for the better performance of your model. And then the data is fed to AutoML model. Here I use PyCaret package and also the Vertex AI GCP cloud platform to train my model, and then I exported my model. I deployed my model as a REST API in the Docker, so that it will be easy to deploy in any environment. That is the reason I choose Docker to deploy my machine learning model. And now coming to the exploratory data analysis. So here is the four classes we have in our data set. The first class is negative, which is also called euthyroid, which simply says there are no issues with there are no issues. And the second one is hypothyroid. We have 6.8% of the data available across the 6.8% of the data available. So when you talk about hypothyroid, it's more of, it generates the thyroid will produce the less hormones than required. And the third one is euthyroid sick. It is actually, kind of, when we diagnose it, right? When we do any preliminary, analysis on the blood test or whatever the test it is, it actually says there are no issues, but that can lead to the thyroid. They are very minor related to the thyroid issues, but that can actually go away without any medication. But we should be very careful, right? The fourth one is hyperthyroid. Obviously, when thyroid generates more hormones, then it's called hyperthyroid. And if you see, out of these four classes, the negative, right, which almost has 85%, that means we have only 15% of the data that covers about the thyroid related cases, which is highly imbalanced data here, right? Now, the analysis part. Majorly, this analysis is between the age and the category. Category is nothing but our, the labels, our target variable. And if you see, mainly in terms of age, most of the people between 30 to 40, sorry, 30 to 50 and 50 to 75 are highly affected with or any of these three symptoms, like hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, and sick. So the mostly the age between 30 to 50 and 50 to 75 are most most people who are affected at this particular age. I mean, it doesn't mean that other ages will not affect much, but this analysis on the based on the data what we have. And the second analysis would be the gender versus category. And obviously, if you see, females are mostly affected with the thyroid, as we already discussed, right? Females are 7% more prone to affect with the thyroid, right? And the third analysis is between the pregnant and the category. And if you see, good, actually, we have very less cases when during the pregnancy. One reason is because If if a female has a thyroid, there are very less chances to get into pregnancy, right? And there are very less chances if a pregnancy lady will get the thyroid, right? This is the general analysis. It is not only the based on this data, but it's also general analysis from my understanding. Now, coming to the important technique called synthetic minority oversampling technique. This is the technique which I used for oversampling, right? And if you see, we already seen, right, 85% of the data is actually a good data, in the sense no issue data. Remaining 50% of data, we have the thyroid related issues. So now, obviously, if I feed this data to my ML model, my model will be more inclined towards the negative than predicting the actual thyroid cases. So, but somehow I need to make my model understand on the thyroid related case. There are two cases when you want to overcome this, imbalance data. One is undersampling. That won't make any sense because we are deleting the real data that may help your model to understand better. And the second option is oversampling the minority classes. In our case, hypothyroid, euthyroid, and hyperthyroid. But there is a catch here. How can I oversample it? I would definitely don't want to go with a random oversampling, because that may lead to some statistical issues, right? For example, it will randomly pick some data and randomly assign some value, create a new record, or else it will copy the existing record. That won't make any sense, or it won't help my model to find the better data mining, right? To For the better data mining. So that is the reason smoothie or systematic synthetic minority oversampling technique comes here. It internally uses k nearest neighbor, KNN algorithm, to oversample the minority classes, right? So KNN technically it works based on the distance, which will create a replica of your existing records, so that it will resemble as a real record, right? The important parameters of smoothie is number of neighbors. So if it's nothing but your k, the value of k, right, in KNN k. By increase the number of nearest neighbor, you get the futures from one or more cases. By keeping the number of nearest neighbor low, you uses features that are more like those in the original samples. It's always good if you give a little bit bigger number of k, right? And the second important parameter is percentage. This is very important. This says how much and how many minority class observation I need to add. Let's say if I say 50%, right? And what happens is this hypothyroid and all these minor classes will be increased 50% of the data, right? So this percentage is very important, to get the better results or whatever it is. So in my case, I took 75% as my oversampling technique. Now coming to the evaluation metrics, obviously as it is a classification problem, recall, precision, F1 score, and IUC are the best metrics to find the model, to identify the best model, right? So now here are the results of the model. So as I mentioned, I use AutoML or automated ML, which trained with almost 10 plus algorithms, right? And what are the results we are seeing in the screen is with the imbalanced data, right? And if you see with the imbalanced data, LDA, linear discriminant analysis algorithm, is performed better. So I should not say perform better, but compared to other algorithms with the imbalanced data, LDA did best. But if you see, recall is little bit low, right? And precision is good and F1 score is good. But recall is also important, right? So when you talk about, you know, mainly health related domain, right? Both type 1 and type 2 errors are very important. We should consider both equally important, right? So now let's go to the other results. This results is mainly with the I trained the model with the balanced data after oversampling. And if you see, gradient boosting classifier did the best here. Whether you talk about area under curve, recall, precision, F1 score, in all the areas, gradient boosting algorithm did the best here, right? So that is the reason why I choose boosting classifier as my final model and deployed in a Docker with and exposed as a REST API, right? And now coming to the conclusion, as most of the data are related to numerical. Of course, it is easy for data pre-processing and for the model building, right? They have some missing values and outlier in the data. So I used statistical technique to replace the missing values and also deal with the outliers. There might be a chance where there will be some better techniques than what I used, but yes. So with the limited data, using deep learning techniques for better data mining might not be the best suggestions. Of course, with the less data, deep learning may go for high variance, right? Or overfitting. So now coming to the contribution to the knowledge. So here the utilizing automated ML models to avoid the multiple iteration of model training, either with the same ML model with different hyperparameters or different ML model with ML models with different hyperparameters. That intent saves the time for identify the best model and the cost of the infrastructure, right? Building the best model to predict and classify the threat, in our case, is the gradient boosting trees. Use a best breed of cloud system for cost optimization and scaling out the deployment. The future recommendation will be so making use of existing health related data set, mainly related to heart, diabetes, cancer, because thyroid can also lead to this one of these diseases. So why can't we try to understand the patterns from from this disease to the thyroid, right? That is one of my future recommendation, and utilizing the deep neural networks for better data mining and predictions. So this is only possible. The utilizing of neural networks is only possible. Two things. One, if you have good amount of data. The second thing is how can we merge the different, related diseases related data set to predict our, thyroid. And more data need to be collected. This is very important. Whatever the data which we have, which is openly available, has a lot of limitations, mainly because it is lot of we have imbalanced data, right? Even if you do statistical imputation or statistical oversampling, it is always good to have the actual data, right? So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much.